Light them up. It's time for Between the Slicks. I'm your host, the Monday Morning Racer, Lee Craft, and this is the most diverse drag racing talk show out there, period. Yes, I think so, period. Where else are you going to get to talk to a drag racing photographer and also a up-and-coming star in the motorcycle world? You need to definitely be looking out for her, Destiny Spurlock. She will be our second guest tonight. Later on in the show, up first will be David Hillner. Before bringing Mr. Hilner on, though, and talking about his accomplishment of getting the Drag Illustrated photo annual cover and having a few inside as well, a little bit on drag racing news. So, fan favorite in Nitro Funny Car in the NHRA, Ron Capps. He does extend his deal with Napa Auto Parts, and we have an announcement because we know that Ron Tobler, who I was able to interview on the Competition Plus Power Hour earlier this week on Tuesday night, that he is gone into retirement. Medlin and Antonelli will tune for Ron Capps. I don't expect any performance to drop off and Ron to have a good year. Hey, by the way, if you're looking for some fun and you're itching for some drag racing, catch out competitionplus.com, the VRHRA, that's Virtual Reality Hot Rod Association. There is happening right now the Golden Gate Nationals. Just having some fun being back at Fremont and doing some drag racing there. Look, go to competitionplus.com, check them out, vote for Doug Foley. Please, vote for Doug Foley. Help me get Doug Foley across the finish line. Yes, I've got invested interest, being transparent, get him across the finish line. Let's get him a win in the VRHRA. My last little tidbit concerning drag racing news. Dayco Aftermarket, which is a company that's been around since 1905, and they produce engine drive systems for a wide array of mechanical parts and pieces. They are going to be sponsoring the Watson Cobra Jet team. Now, I make this remark, glad to hear somebody making the announcement of a sponsor, but this remark I make because last year, if you recall, factory stock, there was some issues, and Ford said, we're not going to run anymore because of rule changes. So something over the offseason has been smoothed out, and looking forward to some factory stock racing. Let's hope that, it will continue. We have Mopar, Chevy, and Ford equally represented throughout the year. We need to get Toyota in there, I think, too. Oh, nope. We're not going to go there any further. Not going to go any further. Look, I do want to bring in at this very moment a new promo code sponsor that I have been able to work out thanks to Lou Santiago. I appreciate him working this out for me. But DEI, Design Engineering Incorporated, they're heavily involved in motorsports. But whoever you are, gearhead, motorsports head, look, they've got products and solutions that you need. If you use promo code MMRDEI at their website, designengineering.com, you will get 10% off. You help me, the Monday Morning Racer, out. Let's take a look at one of their great products right now, and that is this oil rug. definitely check out the folks there at DEI. Definitely check the folks out at DEI. Use promo code MMR DEI. Get 10% off at their website. Don't go to JEGS. Don't go to Summit. Go to their website, designengineering.com. They've got thermal wraps. They've got heat shielding. They've got sound deadening material. They're already involved in motorsports. Go check them out. Well, at this time, we're going to bring on our first guest, David Hillner. David, man, how you doing tonight?
Good, Lee. How we doing?
Oh, I am doing stellar. Another night to talk about drag racing. Got to love that. So, look, I'm going to get it out of the way, and I'm going to bring up the issue right here. I'm a subscriber to Drag Illustrated. Boom. There it is. That is your photo. That is your cover, man. How does it feel?
It hasn't really hit me yet. You know, like I told you before, it's, you know, to have my image up there with some of the best photographers in the world is, you know, I can't believe it.
Well, there it is. You've got it. And look, talk to me about that photo in particular. This Mustang up in the air doing the unicycle thing on one rear wheel. What was the outcome of it? Did he save that thing?
He did not. Actually, when Kevin came up off the line, I was right behind his car. We were at the NMRA World Finals in Bowling Green, and he got up, went up onto the mounts off the back bumper, came down sideways, skid across the track, almost hit the car in the opposing lane. And then everybody knows at Bowling Green, you've got a short area between the fence and the wall. He actually got up on the top of the fence, slid down the fence before he came to a stop. They had to bring a forklift out to get him off the wall there and get him out on the track to put him on a flatbed to get him out of there.
Oh, man. Well, you know, it is a fascinating moment that you caught him, his car almost straight up on one wheel, and sad that the outcome was as it was. But you had a good outcome from it, getting that cover for Drag Illustrated. So what does that mean right now? I know we talked a little bit before the show. What does it mean as a photographer for the industry to get this cover with the, I think, premier print magazine concerning drag racing?
It means a lot. You know, like I do, everybody knows I do a lot of work with Damon with E3 Xtreme, and we were talking yesterday, and he brought up a pretty good point is, you know, there's only been maybe, I think, 10 of these issues, and I have one of the 10. I mean, I'm up there with, you know, my idol, John Ford III, and the best photographers in the world. And, you know, I just, again, it just hasn't hit me yet. It hasn't really sunk in to be on that cover. That is like the most lucrative cover of any photographer. It's like winning the Pulitzer Prize, and it's just an honor. I mean, I'm happy, you know, I'm excited. I'm just everything rolled up into one. You know, I can't thank Damon enough, and, you know, Wes, JT, Nate, everybody over at Drag Illustrated. It's been a fun past month or so.
I imagine that it has been. So what's the process of getting that cover? How do photographers get into this program, and what was it like? Did you get a phone call from Wes? Did you see it online first? Did you get a proof of it? How did all that work out?
No, I mean, with the photo annual, you have to be chosen by Drag Illustrated, and they have you submit, you know, 20 to 30 pictures. And then they go through and they determine what pictures are going to be used inside, and then also the cover. I was actually at PDRA in Virginia for their World Finals. I was out there talking to Nate, and Nate said he was going to get a hold of me. They wanted me to submit stuff to DI this year for the photo annual. And, you know, I sent about 20 images in, and I had 4 chosen. I made the cover, and then I had 3 additional pictures inside the magazine.
Stellar, man. Again, congratulations on that accomplishment. I know that's basically having the trophy as a photographer in the photographer world for sure. So where does it all begin, David? Where's the inception of I'm going to do photography and it's going to be involving drag racing? Where does that begin? How does it grow?
Oh, it was for me. It began back in 2004, 2005. I always was into photography. I was racing, and it just got to be where I didn't have the time because of my job to really go out there and race full time to get out every weekend. So I started hanging around the track and playing around. My first events that I started shooting were down at Empire with Mom's Racing, Mustang on Mustang. I was involved with that program for many, many years. And I started moving up a little bit. And luckily, I got a break with Dragzine and Andrew Wolf. They let me get out and do some NMRA events and stuff like that. And I started to get noticed at that point. And then I was lucky enough to meet Damon. Damon and Ellen, I met back in 2017, I think. And then we really started, becoming friends. Damon and Ellen were phenomenal and letting me shoot with them. And then it just took off after that.
There you go. You have reached, well, a pinnacle of the photography
Yes.
and drag racing world. So how challenging was 2020 for you with COVID and travel? What did that look like? How many events got cut? How, did that affect your pocketbook? Things of that nature. How challenging was 2020?
Well, 2020 was challenging in a lot of different ways, both personal and business. But I think 2020 was one of the best years I've ever had. I'm a finance manager at a local dealership. We got shut down. I went down to see Damon in Tennessee the next day, and Damon was nice enough to surprise me with a 4,000-mile road trip. We started in March 28th, I believe, got back like mid-April. I came home for a little bit, went back out, and picked Damon up, went down to Bradenton at the beginning of May. We were scheduled for Radio Fest, and that got canceled in Alabama, and then took off again on the road. Came back to the dealership after Woodstock in South Carolina and worked for the next couple months, then decided I was going to quit my job and hit the road for a little bit, and came down and met up with Damon and took off again for the next 4 months. So I had a couple events get canceled, but I picked up quite a few events I wasn't even planning on doing. And this gave me a chance to get out and meet some really great people. I never planned on going out to Tulsa last year. I started shooting with the Midwest Pro Mod Series. Never planned on doing the NMRA. And, maybe without COVID, I would have never had that cover because I wasn't even planning on going to the event.
Right. As much as COVID shaked everything up, it was similar for me. I had a year in which, as crazy and as chaotic as it was a year of growth and acceleration. Mm-hmm. And honestly, if it wasn't for COVID, I don't know, might not have had as best of a year as I did. So I understand exactly what you're talking about and how, as chaotic as it can be, it actually turned for the better. Folks, if you're out there and you've been adversely affected by COVID, we definitely sympathize with you, though we understand that it has been challenging. So, David, where is home? What's the local track? I asked that knowing, but I want people to know about the work that you do locally and giving some exposure to those local racers.
I'm up in Rochester, New York. My local track is New York International Raceway Park at Lancaster. It's out in Buffalo, 8th mile track. I've been out there with those guys for quite a few years. We have the Buffalo Street Outlaws out there. A lot of big names have come through that program. It's just a great track. Vito Antonelli came in. They've done a lot of stuff. They're putting money back into the track, and hopefully this year is going to be even better with having spectators there. It's kind of weird coming in and, shooting every Friday night and stuff like that and looking up and not seeing anybody in the stands.
Definitely a weird experience. It was strange. I was at Indy 1 for the NHRA, and it's like, wow, this is eerie. It felt more like a test session than a race, actually. It was eerie.
In the beginning, it was a little bit different. We had the tracks were open, but no spectators. We went out to Tulsa for Throwdown in T-Town with the Midwest Pro Mod Series, and Todd and Keith put together such a good plan out there that they allowed them to have spectators. So there were, 20, 30, 40,000 people there and never had an issue. It was cool seeing everybody back up in the stands and stuff again. And then I left Tulsa, drove 16 hours to South Carolina for Woodstock. And then the day before the event, I think it was somebody called in a bomb threat to the NASCAR track down the road.
Yep.
So they came in, they pulled all the spectators out, wouldn't let anybody there. So we ran Woodstock last year with no spectators. And then everybody got that funny picture of Keith up in the empty grandstands holding the sign that says the #1 fan. But it was weird. I went from like one area where everything's wide open, ton of spectators, and then we go to South Carolina and then there's nothing.
Right. And it was, challenging year, strange. I can remember. So I made a move from New York to now being in North Carolina at strutmasters.com. And I made that move in the early part of the pandemic, and New York was like shut down and do nothing, wear masks. I get to South Carolina and I'm like, are y'all having a pandemic? What's going on? It was completely different ball game.
Trust me, I know. I mean, I could just go on for hours and tell you the stories like on mine and Damon's road trip that we had. But the funniest one is we were down in Louisiana heading over to Florida. We were going over to Ryan Milliken's diesel shop, and then we're going to head down towards Bradenton and all those areas. And that time, it was like a day or two before, Florida actually put troopers on all the borders and basically started shutting everything down. And we're like, okay, this is good. We're coming out of Louisiana, which is the hottest spot in the country besides New York. And we're in my truck with New York license plates on. So pretty much every place that we went in Florida, the first response out of anybody's mouth was, "How did you get in?" And it was funny. It was seeing the looks on these people's faces were just like, oh my God, it's like I had leprosy or something.
Right. Definitely a wild year. I'm glad things seem to be normalizing. I think we're going to be back to normal. I've heard things such as like June, July. I definitely hope that is the case. Well, look, you sent me 5 other photos. I want to take a look at your top 5, and I'm going to put them up on the screen. I just want you to talk about why they're significant to you, what it is about them that you like, and what it took to get these shots. So image number 1.
Lizzie at Shakedown. This one took a little bit of time. Lizzie was actually up in underneath the tower getting ready to go out, and I came up to the car and she kind of looked over at me a little bit, and I was trying to get that shot where she was focusing and not looking at me. So I actually backed away from her car. I got down on the ground, crawled back up underneath the side of her car, and I was able to get the shot up through the hole in the window there to show her concentration down the track.
Yeah, good looking photo. I like how she's focused, and she's got the focus, but there's all this noise around her.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it really portrays what a driver is going through. There's so much going around.
Yeah, I wanted her dead focus. I didn't want her looking at me or, like posing for the picture. I wanted her like, there was nobody there. And it took me about 15 minutes to actually get that image.
Well, there you go. So the setup, it does take time to get that shot.
Yeah.
What's the longest you think you have waited, and you're like, oh, that's it, you got it? What's the longest you think you've took that time for?
It's kind of hard to say at the racetrack because really you don't have a lot of time. You're not waiting. But when you go back into the pits, there's certain things you're looking for. I've waited up around 45 minutes before I got that picture in the pits where I really liked it.
There you go. And in the pits, I definitely have had to do that myself. And, occasionally I've had to go places where it's like, I'm technically not supposed to be here, but we're here and we got to get it.
That's where the pretend VIP pass comes in.
Right. Yes. The pretend one. I really like this photo. Everybody's got to love funny cars. I imagine this is the Midwest drag racing series at some point. Is it?
Yes, that was the Midwest. That was at out in Michigan, And it was the reason I love the picture of both chutes on both cars open. That one was the Ruckman brothers and Kyle Smith. And the biggest one for me is that was the start of the 4-month road trip. But we had an absolute blast in Martin up there. I think it was US 131, great motorsports park. And but just the picture is that's one of my favorite pictures of the year.
I definitely like it myself. Who doesn't love funny cars? If you don't love funny cars, something's wrong with you as a drag racing fan. But
I know.
right, and they're alcohol funny cars, even at that. And you've got Ford and Chevy here. You've got one with racing stripes, one with a big oval on them. I mean, there's a lot of juxtaposition going on here. It's a great shot, man. Great shot from the shutdown area. So what is it like shooting shutdown area opposed to starting line? What are some of the challenges? What are some of the pros and cons between the two?
Obviously, up on the line, you're there with all the noise. You're there with all the action, everything happening. Stuff on shutdown can get a little squirrely sometimes, but you're not. It's more quiet on the top end. The biggest challenge is actually having the cars down, making the full pass, having the chutes wide open. It's nothing you can really do about that. You're just hoping, but it's more of like a quiet little getaway to get away from the noise, but to give you those good action shots.
All right. Yeah, I spent some time at the Southeast Gasser Association race, and I said, I'm going to go to their shutdown at Shadyside. I'm going to experience what this is like on the other end. And yes, it is a completely different deal than the starting line scenario. So very interesting filming from there and shooting from there. But yeah, great photo. This is another one of a guy in some trouble. That is definitely out of the groove.
Yeah, this one was the little backstory on this. This was at Throwdown in T-Town out at Tulsa Raceway Park. This was the first event back from COVID that they allowed racing and spectators. But this is what started the chaos for Saturday morning. I was down on the 3:30 mark, and this is Scotty Palmer. This was, I think, the third car down. He gets out of the groove real bad, comes over by the wall. You can see the tires coming back up, and he's getting on one wheel. And after that, I had 4 other cars, including, Todd Martin came by. His door went flying over my head. I had 3 or 4 other cars right after that, including Adam Flamhawk that came up, did a wheel stand right in front of me with the passenger door almost completely open. And everybody started joking with me to stay away from Dave because all the cars are going right at him. And then right after this was qualifying session 4 in the morning, we went into E1 in the afternoon, and I switched sides of the track. I had Kyle over by me with SLM Media, and I think it was the third car down was actually Daddy Dave Comstock, and his hood went flying off the car, went right over our heads, and landed in the ground right behind us. So Kyle looked at me and he said, "Okay, you're like a magnet for these cars today. I'm leaving." And he went further down the wall. But that picture right there was just a very memorable weekend of the first race back from COVID in May. My first time at Tulsa, first time with Midwest Pro Mods, or now Midwest Racing Series. And it was just such an awesome event.
Stellar. Yeah, I imagine being the magnet is no fun. No,
not when you have pro mods taking shots every other round.
Right. Got to duck and cover. Well, yeah. This one is a beautiful shot. I mean, this car is digging, belching flames. I mean, Dragon S.
Yeah, I mean, this is just everything wrapped into one. I mean, you've got old muscle on a 275 with nitrous. The driver's name is Tony Whitmore, and I believe he borrowed this car from somebody. He's a local racer out in Kansas. And again, that was Throwdown in T-Town in May. This was, I think, at like about midnight at Tulsa. This was the last round on Friday night. It was Q3. And after this all happened, I remember the next day that I think he had sent me the message because I put the picture up on Facebook. And after he did the wheel stand, he said he swore that he didn't see any photographers or any media guys out there. His biggest worry was not about the car. His biggest worry is nobody caught the picture. So that's going to stay in my mind for a while.
Definitely, man. That is a beautiful shot. Beautiful
Thank you.
shot. So last photo from your top 5. Personally, this is my favorite because I like helmet shots. I love the eyes. I love, like when they don't know you're there and you're getting something. They're just dead on focused. I really love this. And I don't know who this is, so you're going to have to clue us in, but I love the grizzled face. There's some age.
Oh, come on. This is one of your local boys here from Buffalo. This picture means a lot. This is actually Mike Janis. And we were at Dragway 42. He was doing a private test session. I went out with him and his team. And this was the last time I got to see Mike on the racetrack. Everybody knows that Mike had some health issues and he's not going to be able to drive anymore. And that was my last time being with Mike and his team on the track. And I've been around Mike for a long, long time, being a Buffalo native and everything like that. And, this picture means the world to me because of that.
Yes, definitely. It was sad news to hear that Mike in the situation that he's in. But hey, at least we still have Mike with us and nothing of that nature. And I'm glad to hear that Mike Janis Racing is still got a future and they worked out what they did with Mr. Gray. So definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be fun to see JR behind that wheel.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Well, look, I've got Destiny Spurlock about to come on. Let me fire off a few fan questions for you and see. Well, right here, got to boost 2 says, what is your favorite lens, or do you have a favorite lens? So what's in the armory, man?
I've got probably, 15 lenses. I'd probably have to say my favorite lens to shoot with is I've rented a Nikon 400 millimeter f2.8. And that is just an incredible lens. It matches up well. I shoot with a Nikon D5, and if it didn't cost so much, I'd probably own one myself, but they're up there pretty good. But one of my favorite lenses around just track use, general use, is my Nikon 70-200 f2.8. It's a great all-in-one lens.
All right, there we go. There is some tech on the photo matters and lenses and cameras. Corey Roth, we're both familiar with him, I do believe. He says, how many pictures does it take to get that one shot? So, to like that one, I remember he chimed in on the one there in Tulsa with the maroon Corvette. Like, what does it take to get that moment?
It can take 1 or 2. You can get really lucky, or you can take 40 or 50. Usually when somebody goes up into a wheel stand or somebody's getting really loose or something, with my camera body, I can shoot upwards of 14 frames per second. So like with, Tony's car in Tulsa, I had, I think 55 frames of that wheel stand from start to finish.
Boom. Wow. That capturing the moment. Got to get it.
Yep.
Got to get it. So Kyle Lang, and we will end on this one, David. Kyle Lang, head starter for the PDRA, says, what has been your scariest photography experience standing trackside?
That's a tough one. I've seen a lot. Kyle knows this year we had a couple close incidents at Shakedown. But I've gotten used to being on that wall. I really don't move. I think the only person that's really made me move is I'm gonna have to say David Wolf back 2 years ago at Lights Out. I got the bright idea on Friday night to go down underneath the scoreboards, and I'm sitting just past the quarter, and I wanted to get the nitrous flames. I wanted to get the guys throwing the chutes at the 8th mile, and I think David Wolf was the 5th set down, and he was actually on my side in the left lane. He came off the line, got a little squirrely. He was maybe 5 inches off the wall, stayed in the car the whole time. And when he got down through the quarters and through the laundry, the parachutes were open, and I could feel the breeze of the parachutes coming by my head. And after he went by, everybody was laughing because how fast I moved out of there. And I went over to my golf cart and drove up to the starting line, and that was probably the most I'd have to say the scariest moment.
All right. I have not had many of those moments yet, and I don't want many of them, but there's been a few moments of a pro mod doing a burnout, and I'm like, that was closer than I wanted it to be. That was closer.
I mean, you got to come out and hang down on the 330 with us sometime.
I'll have to do that, yes.
Like Scotty Palmer. I mean, there's nothing like watching him ride a wall up on 3 wheels, and he's wheeling right at you. And it was funny too, because the day before I was in the opposite lane, and he got real squirrely off the line, and his car was actually pointed right at me and came right to me, and he just basically drove it off the wall almost.
Man.
And makes you think once or twice when you're out there.
Definitely. All right. One last question, and I think we know the answer with this one. E3 Xtreme says, who's your favorite photographer in drag racing?
I don't have one. There's so many good photographers out there right now. Everybody has a different eye. Damon does amazing work. I could just sit here and name names, just keep going on and on and on. But you have the newer photographers now that are showing the older photographers new stuff, doing those artsy shots on the lines. You have people that are just absolute masters like Cameron, sitting on top end doing the side view shots. You've got people that can just do amazing work. And there's just so many good photographers out there right now. But unfortunately, Damon's probably going to get mad. If I had to choose one to maybe outweigh everybody else, it would definitely have to be John Ford. If it wasn't for John, I might not be doing this. I remember looking at his pictures back in the day, and I just absolutely loved what he captured and how he did it. And that's what got me into doing a lot of the photography for drag racing.
Well, David, look, thank you for being on Between the Slicks. Appreciate the insight. Appreciate taking a look at the photos. Again, man, congratulations on the DI cover of the 2020 photo annual. Man, have a good rest of your evening. We're going to let you check out. You're pulling the chutes.
Thank you. See you later, Lee.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Folks, check out that Drag Illustrated issue, the 2020 photo annual. But hey, remember, you also can get great drag racing news. It's the only place where you can, yes, trust and believe in what you read on the internet, and that's competitionplus.com. Well, after this brief word from a, New York native as well, Mr. Grant Farmer and fuelinjectionservices.com, we will have Destiny Spurlock on and chat with her.
Fuelinjectorservices.com. It's essential that your fuel injectors perform at their peak, whether you're in your daily driver or high horsepower race machine, for you to get the most out of your vehicle. At fuelinjectorservices.com, we maintain precision fuel injectors with cleaning and flow testing, as well as providing the sale of genuine brand name injectors. It can all be done at fuelinjectorservices.com, the home of Flowzilla, one of the largest injector test benches in the country. Check out fuelinjectorservices.com. Veteran-owned, racer-tested, aerospace refined.
Destiny, we've got, Randy Pettit right here. You remember talking to him?
Randy, what's up?
In my hands, I have got the trophy that the NHRA Top Fuel Rookie of the Year, Justin Ashley, won at Indy, and I've got one of the race win trophies for Johnny Placino's championship winning effort this year. So no pressure, Destiny. Strutmasters.com sponsors winners and champions, and I'm very confident as I stand here before you in this audience and saying this young lady is going to bring home one of these this year.
Yeah,
maybe one of those championship trophies too. But from all of us here at Strutmasters.com, we are excited to have Destiny Spurlock carrying the colors of Strutmasters for 2021. And ladies and gentlemen, this man right here, he is the hardest working man in drag racing. This guy's here till 11, 12 o'clock at night putting these shows together for you.
One last night.
So make sure you share these shows with your friends. and subscribe to Monday Morning Racer, my man Lee Craft. Destiny, good to have you aboard. Good luck this season.
Thanks. I'm excited for this season.
Thank you. Thank you. Randy, thank you, man. So, Destiny, look, it is an honor to have you on Between the Slicks, and really being able to have someone like you and David on earlier really is able to build what I've been trying to build here with this show, that it's the most diverse drag racing talk show that is out there. So, first, explain to me where you're racing, what the association is, and what you're racing so that people can know what it is. Because, you know, a lot of drag racing fans, they're familiar with NHRA, they're familiar with PDRA, but you're in the XDA. Talk to us about that.
Yes, so I race in the XDA series, which is the Xtreme Dragbike Association. So XDA. And it's pretty much based on the East Coast. We race between two tracks, which is Maryland International Raceway and VMP down in Virginia and Dinwiddie. And it's a humongous, to me, I'm going to say it, I think it's the best series out there that we have right now for sportsmen, whether you're brand new to drag racing or you've been doing it forever and you're a racing pro. I feel like it's an amazing series for everyone, starter series, whatever you want to do. And what I'm racing this year, oh goodness. So this year I have the opportunity to race in the Pro Extreme class at the XDA. I'm also racing in 460 and Super Stop. So I will definitely have my hands full this year, but I'm ready. I love challenges, and I know that I can do it. And I have like the best teams ever, like with me. So we're gonna rock it out this year.
Awesome. Now, for folks to be more familiar with you, clue us into some of the parameters: age, hometown. What was the childhood like? Those type of things.
All right, so a little bit about me. I'm 28. This is crazy. I'm almost 30, y'all. I've been racing since I was 16 years old, 16, 17 years old. I'm from Richmond, Virginia. Racing is in me. My grandfather, he used to street race. I never got to see him do it, but my mom and my dad, they both ride motorcycles. I used to ride on the back with them when I was 6 years old. My poppy, which is my grandfather, he used to take me to tractor pools, and like, when I saw that, I was like, okay, this is cool. This is in the dirt. They're kind of fast. And then once I went to the drag strip, my godfather, he raced motorcycles, and I completely fell in love with it. I grew up, well, yeah, my grandparents lived probably like a mile up the street from RR, Richmond International Raceway, where they raced the NASCARs. So when I was little, I grew up like hearing that. And that was always exciting because you can kind of hear the engines roaring and all of that. So I've just been surrounded by fast stuff my whole life.
A motorsports girl. I like that. I like that. You're steeped in it. And I like hearing a drag racer that knows a little bit more than just drag racing. That's very cool. The tractor pulling, all that. Stellar. Let me have a public service announcement just real quick. So, Johnny Placino, look, man, you're champion. You're a big deal. It's okay. We don't have to have Randy come back with the trophy. I know you got the DI cover. Congratulations. But it's okay, man. It's a new year. It's a new year. You never know who might be coming for you. Johnny, love you. Glad to have you on the show and chiming in. So, Destiny.
Yes.
Johnny Placino, strutmasters.com.
Yes.
And this year, you have got some help from strutmasters.com as well. I'm going to bring up the rendering so that we can see it. Oh, where did it go? There it is. Yes. Talk to us about this.
Woo! Yes. So that's what my beautiful Pro Extreme motorcycle will look like this year. That white is kind of like a matte satin pearl. And then the pink that's on it is going to be a chrome pink. I'm really excited about this opportunity. It literally came out of nowhere. My team that I have behind me, like I said earlier, is amazing. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I'm like speechless because I'm so excited. So just know that you guys better watch out and stay focused because we're coming.
So talking about your team, Randy Pettit, in a great article that was published on competitionplus.com, you have a connection to, well, the extreme pro stock world, the mountain motor pro stock world, with an individual on your team that worked with Monte Carlo. So break down the team for us and who is all the players involved.
Okay, so the owner of the bike is David Rudd. He's out of Maryland. Then we have William, that's like the mastermind of everything. Then we have my boyfriend Cortland, who is also going to be like the assistant crew chief and mechanic, and he's going to help tie everything together. So that's my team that I have with me for Pro Extreme this year.
Very cool. Look, Tammy Powers, I don't know if you're familiar with Tammy Powers or not. If you're not, you need to reach out to her, get connected with Miss Alan Johnson Performance Engineering. She definitely loves the girl power, and I love her question here because she asked, what are your goals and timeline for NASCAR? Because if you go to your Twitter,
yes,
it's got, hey, a goal of becoming a NASCAR racer. So talk to me about that and the dream there.
Okay, so NASCAR has been a dream of mine forever. Like I said, my grandparents lived a mile up the street from them. It's been hard to get into NASCAR, unfortunately, trying to get sponsors, and it's not a cheap sport. Last year, at the beginning of COVID, I was doing some testing at Dominion Raceway in Thornburg, Virginia. Yes. And everything was going good, getting tested, and then COVID came. And then that kind of put a halt to everything. So right now, I'm still working on getting sponsorships, but I'm also, in the meantime, while I'm working on that, I know that I can still do my motorcycle stuff because that's what I've been doing for forever. But the timeline on it, if it was up to me, I would say like, yeah, next year we're going. But it's kind of like at the bay of sponsors, and because I have to fund everything myself right now. But fingers crossed, who knows? Anything can happen. The sky's the limit.
Definitely anything can happen. Hey, Tammy chimes in and says, send her to @PowerDriveMF on Instagram. So check Tammy out there when you get a chance, Destiny. Hey, Johnny Placino chimes in. Awesome. Good luck this year, teammate. And good luck with Willie. Good luck with Willie. And so from California, American Hot Rod Entertainment, guys, check out his YouTube channel, Rooting for Destiny, all the way from Inglewood, California. So, this was a great one. John Strickland, PDRA Pro Boost champion for 2020. She's going to be great. She knows a little bit about pulling and racing. So, yeah, if you want to get in a pulling rig, call Galat. Get a load of this, and maybe John can hook you up. So, a lot of folks on this show, they're definitely going to be familiar with NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle. So, your bike compared to pro stock motorcycle, what are we talking about?
Well, I'm not going to say completely two different things, but they're similar, but not really. Okay, so the Pro Extreme bike versus the NHRA Pro Stock bike. The Pro Stock bike it has a clutch on it. So you're clutch and gas and boom at the same time. The Pro Extreme bike, it has no clutch. We're literally holding a button, twisting the throttle, letting off the button. Let's see, they both have wheelie bars. My Pro Extreme bike is extremely fast. My Pro Extreme bike, in the 1/8 of a mile, we go like low 4 seconds, high 3s. So super, super fast, way faster than a Pro Stock bike, but they're pretty similar. I come from racing clutch bikes. My first bike was a Gixxer 750 stock. I was foot shifting, clutch, all that, and I still do that to this day. And in the super stock class that I'm doing, I'll still be doing that. So they're different but the same, if that makes sense. They're both big tire bikes. Yeah.
All right. Hey, the biggest point there that I did want to bring up is that you are going much faster. In fact, the numbers you're talking about, I mean, that's faster than Johnny Placino, who's on the show. If it's a high 3s, they haven't cracked into that yet. Come on, Johnny, do something over there. But Troy Hossman says you're a great ambassador for the XDA. This question, the one that I definitely wanted to get to, ask, will you run any PDRA races? So Pro Nitrous, I believe it is in the PDRA world with the motorcycles. Yeah, I thought about running with the boys down there.
We are actually only going to be confined to the XDA series this year, and we have a turbo, so we'll be in XDA.
Turbos, there you go. Turbos on bike.
Yeah, there's my turbo.
It's that important, folks. It's tatted. She is turboed. She is turboed. Yes, that is stellar. That is stellar. So got to boost it too. Ask, what are the 60 times? You know right off the top of your head what the 60 times is for your motorcycle?
On the Pro Extreme, I do not know right off the top of my head. I want to say that it's been projected that I'll be going like 1.0, like super fast, but we'll see.
We'll see. You're just like, hey, it's fast and I like it. It's fast and
exactly.
I like it. All right. Well, look, I'm going to pop this video up, bring this moment up from cycledrag.com, and then I want you to clue us in to this moment for yourself, for the family, for the team.
It's been an impressive rookie year for Dystany Spurlock in the 460 category, and at the Man Cup Finals at South Georgia Motorsports Park, this young lady made some history. Destiny Spurlock and the Marks team were dang near unbeatable throughout the weekend, and finally, Destiny advanced to the final of the Growthish Drag Bikes Big Money Shootout, where she would have to take on the wily veteran Mike Shongris.
So from that event, you later on, you get the win. Big celebration on, there, your folks at the starting line. What was that moment like for you, your career, and propelling you to even today?
I haven't seen that video in a while, and it kind of like, this is weird. I don't even know why. It made me like a little teary-eyed. But that moment then, I was in such, not disbelief, but I was just so shocked. It was just so amazing to know that the beginning of the year was crazy. We went through so many trials and tribulations, and we went through the growing pains. So to go from that to finally like winning and going rounds was such an accomplishment. We learned so much, and that day was so smooth. It was so peaceful. I was excited, and then like after I would win a round, I'm like, yeah. My boyfriend's like, all right, yeah, but chill, we got more to go. And I'm like, you're right. Let's stay focused. Let's get it. And then once I won, they come down to get me. He's like, Dave, how does it feel? I'm like, I guess I'm excited. I was just so shocked, but it was definitely an accomplishment. I am still right now happy and excited and thankful for that opportunity that we had, and we made a record. Like, I'm the first woman to win a 460 race, and I think that's awesome. And with me doing that, I feel like it's so empowering to other men and other women and kids and teenagers to see that, hey, if she can do it, they can do it too. So it was awesome, to say the least. I'm
sure it was. Great moment there for you and for the organization, your team. And I'm gonna bring this photo up. That's the bike, right?
No, that is my 460 bike, which is not gonna look like that this year. It's paint jobs, all new. But yeah, it pretty much looks just like that bike.
I do like what you got going on there. The green eyes and the swirls all through. I like it.
That's all Denise and oh my God, I'm drawing a blank right now. That's all the Marks family. They all did that. And I love it. Its name is Muggsy.
Muggsy. Oh, that is stellar. Muggsy. I like that a lot. That fits. So James Hot Rod Johnson, he chimes in. Crusher Motorsports wish you the best for 2021 in XDA. All right. So you're definitely a fan of motorsports beyond your own racing endeavors. You've got that goal to get into NASCAR. Let's run down the list. Who is your top NHRA persona that you're a fan of?
I like Antron Brown just because he went from, the bikes and now to the dragster. So I think that's super awesome. I love Angel. I don't really have a favorite. And even in the series that I race in now, I look at everyone and I take bits and pieces from their riding styles and to see their growth and where they've come from and their story. So I love everybody. I embrace everybody, and I like everybody's different race. Like, I don't know what you would say, but how everybody races different and stuff like that. I just take different pieces from it. So.
Who is the toughest competitor in the XDA that you've got to face in 2021?
Oh God! I got two people in mind. One I would say I'm not gonna say they're tough. It's just they've been around forever. Not saying they're old or anything, but they've been around forever.
Wow! You just said they're not tough and they've been around forever, but.
I'm just saying, no, like they're very competitive racers. So I would say Boo Brown and Procopio. But me and Procopio, we got a thing because it's like every time we race, we are neck and neck. I can't remember if I should have brought that ticket, but it was one race. I think it was the last race of this year. And I had like a 004 and he had like a 006. It was something like that. The margin of victory was like 00 something. It was crazy. But every time me and Procopio races, it's like we're at each other's throat. So, but it's just a fun rivalry that we have. But I don't know.
Okay. Mark it down. Just like Got to Boost It says old. Just mark it down. It down. We got some fuel for the competitors over there from Monday Morning Racers Between the Slicks.
No.
Now, in NASCAR, who's the driver that you're pulling for? Who are you a fan of?
All right. I am a Denny Hamlin fan, and I like Joey Logano. I like how Denny's so chill, but he's also aggressive. And I like Joey Logano because he's just an aggressive driver. That's how I am. It's just like, if it's not space, he's going to take it. He's going to make it work and get in there and go. And also I like to see he came in as a really, I can't remember how old he was when he started racing in the Cup Series, but I like his drive and how far he's come.
He's definitely come a long way. He had a stellar, what now is nationwide series run, comes into the Cup, and he struggled for a little bit. Really thought that, the greatest thing since sliced bread might have been sliced and diced to the end of a career, but he was able to revamp it going to Penske. So, yes, I understand what you're saying about that drive and kept pushing and has become successful.
Yes.
Daytona 500 pick.
God, you're putting me on the spot right now. Well, we were just watching a duel before I came on. Let's see. I'm going to have to go with Denny. But Bubba's number one, like he was fastest in practice. I don't know. And then I think it was Austin Dillon just won the duel. I can't remember off bat, but I don't know. Everybody's looking really good this year. So I would say those three.
All right. Those three. Well, let me bring up this comment from Randy Pettit. This was in the article. William Cavallo said this. You can tell a lot looking into a rider's eyes. Some can't wait to pop the chute, and some can't wait to drop the clutch. Destiny can't wait to drop the clutch. What do you think that says about you and what type of rider and competitor you are?
I feel like it says exactly who I am. My eyes they tell a story. My boyfriend always says, I can see it in your eyes, like when you're ready. I can see it in your eyes when you're focused, which is very true because you can see when I'm determined. It's this one photo that everybody loves because it's like you see my eyes through my helmet and I'm focused. But that saying says that she's ready. She's focused. I know she can do it and she will do it. And it's just got confidence written all through it, I think.
Definitely a good thing when a competitor has confidence and is willing to go out there and put it on the line and get the job done. So let's bring up a few fan questions. Destroyer 1320, he asked, what is your pre-race routine? So, just having you on, you're definitely an energetic gal. What's it like? Are you more somber and you're focused and thoughtful, or, you got to hype yourself up? What do you do?
So first I'm listening to some type of music, whatever I'm feeling at that moment. Once we push the bike up in the lanes, I'm completely focused. Like, I don't really like people to talk to me, like, hey, what's up? I don't like any of that. I mean, I'll speak, hey, but I'm trying to get focused. Right before I go into the burnout box, I put my head down and I pray. When I'm in the burnout box and my boyfriend's about to start me up, I look at him, he looks at me, he's like, you ready? I'm like, yes. And once he shakes his head yes, and me, and I shake mine yes, I know it's go time. After that, my only focus is to cut a light and to cut on that wind light. So that's my routine.
That's the routine, and hopefully there's a lot of win lights this year for you in XDA competition. So, Destiny, look, we're going to be closing the show here in just a few moments. I want to end with this. Who do you need to say thank you to? And this is your opportunity to say thank you.
Got a list right here. All right, so we're gonna say thank you to Strut Masters. Number one, they are our headline sponsor in the Pro Extreme class this year. David Rudd, Fuel Tech, Innovative Performance, Magna Fuel, Comp Turbo, Hoosier Tires, Race Light Lithium Batteries, Motul, Vortex, Brock's Performance, Worldwide Bearings, Future Towing, MTC, of course, my amazing boyfriend Cortland, and of course William Cavallo. That's everybody.
Well, you might want to thank the hairstylist too, because styling and profiling there.
Thanks, hairstyles. It's got to get done, but yeah. Thanks.
Well, Destiny, look, it has definitely been a joy and an honor to have you on Between the Slicks. Hopefully, the Monday Morning Racer myself will be able to see you sometime in person this year at an XDA event. Definitely hope that's the case. Look, hope you have a great 2021.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. Let's go.
Thank you, Destiny. Folks, man, what a breath of fresh air. Definitely a blast of energy into the sport of drag racing in XDA. Destiny has got a great future ahead of her. And folks, check her out. Follow her on Instagram and follow her on Facebook, Destiny Spurlock. Find her, follow her, and keep a close eye on her career. I appreciate that. Got to boost it too. Good show. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So, folks, this is it. The end of Between the Slicks for this episode. I will be right back here Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. Still working out the guests that we'll have for next week. But as you know, it will be the most diverse drag racing talk show that there is, period. Thank you to strutmasters.com for all the support. And let me also remind you, I host, along with Slammin' Sam, the Competition Plus Power Hour on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. And what a show we've got Tuesday night on Competition Plus. It is me and Sam, along with Jeff Arin, yakking it out. But the two guests are Donald, Quack Quack, Duck Long, and Alexis DeJoria. That is one heck of a lineup for the Competition Plus Power Hour. Look, thank you for watching Between the Slicks. We've pulled the chutes. We're in the shutdown area, and we got to make the turnaround. Until next time, God bless and keep the pedal